Hi, have you ever noticed that if you're having a challenge in your life, or you're making a change in your life, or even if you just have a really cool idea that you're ready to bring into your life, and you share this information with friends, family members, or even work colleagues, that typically everyone will have an opinion. Everyone will have advice. And while this is all heartfelt, well-intended information and support, all these people just really want to see you succeed and be happy in your life. The truth is, all of this information, all of this guidance, all of their suggestions are coming from their perspectives. And so what I want to say to you is that you have an inner guru inside of you that knows at all times what's best for you, how to navigate change, what changes to do when, how to time things. And you have access to your own inner guru that's looking only at the specifics of your life and how this change, this information, this idea would integrate into your life. So I want to invite you to hang with your inner guru. And I want to talk about what does that look like and how do you really gain access to this part of you that's all-knowing, that is brilliant, it's genius. So I want to start at the beginning. My name is Monika Brown, and this is Hanging with Your Inner Guru. So there are three components from my perspective that are needed in order for you to be really, really listening and connected to your inner guru. One is present, and we're going to cover all these and break these down. But presence, you have to be present. The other thing is internally quiet. And the third component is attentive. So while that's really great, let's talk about what does that look like in practicality, okay? So presence. Presence means here and now. It doesn't mean I'm watching a movie. It doesn't mean I'm in a heated conversation with someone. It's I'm in my body. I'm in my experience. You have to stay all the way here and not take off to really receive information from this higher part of you, because you're grounded. And you can go high. So for the spiritual community, yeah, you can go high, get your frequency going high, and you can have lucid moments out of your body. But when you're tuning into your inner guru, you're also grounded. And so you're going to start there, right? Present. So present in the moment, present in your circumstances, present. The other thing that is required is, you know what, actually I want to go back to the present. So present, and you know, Eckhart Tolle talks about this all the time. So present, present, present. And how do you get present? So let's go there before I go on to component number 2. So what are ways that you can become present? You can feel your feet touching a surface. So feeling your feet, even if they're in shoes. Okay, I feel the soles of my feet in my shoes. Ideally, take your shoes off and let's get you grounded and feel what's under your feet. Can you put your feet on water, in water, or on soil or on grass? Something from this world, from the earth, to assist you in being present in your body. Other ways to be present: take a walk, take your time. That the cross motion of legs and arms kind of brings you in and will help you to be present. Other things that you can do to be present is make eye contact. I think that's actually a huge one. A lot of people in the Western world are not present. They very rarely make eye contact for any length of time. So when you're with others and you want to be tuned into your inner guru, to assist you in conversations and situations and experience, or just because you really like being connected to your inner guru and having that presence there with you, then make eye contact and stay in eye contact. You don't have to glare or stare, but staying in eye contact is helpful. Let's see some other ways of bringing presence. When you're doing a task, be present to the task that you're doing. Instead of multitasking, do one thing at a time, and that can help you to build that presence. If you tend to be flighty or distract yourself or check out, if you tend to binge watch Netflix because you're feeling bad, you're checked out. And at some point, maybe you'll check back in, or you'll dip into your subconscious in a way where you connect. But in order to cultivate that presence, choose what you're doing deliberately and consciously. So I want to go on to quiet. And I'm not saying you need to be in silence. You don't have to be in meditation. Internally quiet. Another way to put that would be relaxed. So internally quiet means that I'm not in a frenzy inside. I'm not anxious. I'm not worried. I'm not super emotional. And the reason that this aspect is important is that the more upset emotionally we get, or the more anxious we get, or the more we get into our analytical mind, what happens is our brain waves speed up, and they speed up so high that we're not able to pick up any information. They get to such a place that we're not able, we come out of our creative zone, and we're not able to listen to that creative part of us, utilize our imagination, or even learn. So the inner quiet is really important. So what are some ways that you could cultivate inner quiet? You could cultivate inner quiet by reading something that is uplifting and pleasant and enjoyable to you. You could cultivate that quietness, that inner relaxation by doing something you really enjoy. So if you're an artist, express yourself that way. I'm sure you found it. If you're an artist or a musician, or if you love to cook, or if you love to garden, or whatever it is you love to do, take yourself there, because a lot of times when we do those things that we really enjoy, what happens is our brainwaves start to slow down, and we come into a really prime state of internal contentment and quietness, where our brainwaves are in a place where we can digest information, but we can also really use our imagination. So our subconscious becomes more accessible, information becomes more accessible and digestible. So if there's something that you really enjoy, that you have a passion for, I would definitely highly recommend to cultivate that quietness and that relaxed state to do that. Meditation is obviously one way to come into an inner quietness and still point. And absolutely use meditation. I use meditation every day to cultivate that. But when I'm having an experience in life, and when you're having an experience in life in which you need to be tuned into your inner guru so that you can have a conversation that flows well, that where you're expressing in a higher way, you're going to need to still be in that internal quiet and that state of receptivity and ability to create and use imagination. So you can utilize and cultivate that ability so that when you are in everyday life, that you can get yourself there very quickly and very easily. And eventually you'll find that you just live in that state where you don't have to effort to be receiving that inner guidance on a very regular basis. The third component is attentive. What does attentive mean? I'm paying attention. You're paying attention. So you have to listen. So your inner guru is giving you messages all the time. The information's there, but if you're not paying any attention, you're not receiving the information. Or the other thing with attentiveness is that you don't like the information you're receiving, even though it's accurate for you. So you don't attend to it, right? You're not attentive to it. So ways to cultivate attentiveness. When you feel like you are hearing some important information or aware of some internal guidance, give it your attention. Like maybe stop for a breath or two and say, oh, I think this is what's best for me. I mean, say it out loud or think it in your head, and then kind of thank yourself. Like is one of the practices that I utilize. Here's the thing. Sometimes I put things places. I'm super organized naturally. And what happens is I'm naturally organized, so I'm not paying attention to how I organize myself. And so I put things in places that are highly organized, but then later I'm like, where did I put that thing? And so all I have to do is like, where did I put that thing? And then I'll turn around and it'll be right there. So that's my inner guru saying, hello, it's exactly where you put it, right here. And you know what I do? I say, wow, thank you. I love when that happens. I love when I can't find something and I ask that question and it's right there. So when I turn around and my eyes go right to it, or my body feels to take me in a certain direction, I'm attending to it. And so one of the ways to cultivate that is to acknowledge it. Some other ways to develop attentiveness is practice your listening. So you're listening internally, typically, when you're listening to your inner guru, but if you cultivate being attentive in all of the areas of your life, how the heck are you going to miss what's talking to you inside? It's the same skill. And all of these skills compile together to really hone your intuitiveness, your ability to be in flow with yourself and the universe. So what would that look like to be a good listener? It's kind of putting it all together. So if someone is speaking and you are intending on being there as the listener, then maybe you're making eye contact. You're settling your body down and you're letting it just relax and be present. Even if you don't love the conversation, if you're choosing to be in the conversation, then listen and really listen. Slow down your mind wanting to speak back, and instead just take in the information and kind of take notes. They said this, and if you have a question, then maybe you'll have to figure out a way to track your questions. But the eye contact, actually hearing the person's thought process, and not immediately wanting to give them advice, contradict them, or respond, right? But just really actively listening. That is a great way to develop your own ability to be attentive to yourself and to hear what you're saying. The other thing for attentiveness is listening to your emotions. So you're going through your day and everything is chummy and you're happy, and you're having a conversation with someone close to you, or maybe somebody you don't know, and you get jarred and you don't know why, but you feel a little out of whack, feel a little out of balance, and you realize you're like a little frustrated or edgy or upset, but you haven't dialed into what it is. This is also being attentive. So stop yourself and kind of question, why did I just get upset? What just upset me? Because your inner guru is going to talk to you in many ways. And sometimes it's teaching you to hone in on areas that you're not as attentive so that you can actually improve your life. So we had a client that's a little disconnected from emotions, right? Or easily flows through life. So a little disconnected from emotions. So not that this client didn't have emotions, but in staying in flow, when this client would get jarred, she wouldn't get upset because she thought it was unnecessary. But what she was missing out on was information that was being given to her through those emotional experiences for how to change some beliefs, so that she could live a better life. So listen to your emotions. If you get if we get really upset, you tend to listen to your emotions, right? But if you get a wee bit upset, then stop for a second and check in and figure out why the heck you're upset. Is it you? Is it something that you were thinking or you assumed about the situation and that's why you got upset? Or was it the experience itself and you didn't do something you needed to do, or you did something that would have been better left undone? So that's another way to develop attentiveness. And another way that your inner guru could be relaying information, right? Because that, like, I always go like this because it's up here and comes in is how I feel it, but it's also inside and going out. So your inner guru is always looking for ways to really help you to be happier and more fulfilled and more content in every aspect of your life, your relationships, your finances, your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health, your profession, your work experience, how you spend your time, your recreation, every aspect. So if you can cultivate more presence, come into internal quietude, and be attentive, you're going to have greater access, actually moment to moment in your life, so that you can, in this physicality, take the steps, right? The steps that we take here in this plane of existence to create changes in our life and in our world. So what I would like to offer you is an experience, because I've been chatting a whole bunch. And the reality is, when you experience something, it tends to make more sense. So if you're sitting, I invite you to stand up for a second. And I talked about presence, but let's find presence right here together today. So if you're sitting and you can stand, I invite you to stand. And if you prefer to continue to sit, that's fine. I want you to feel your feet and feel your feet on the ground, whatever surface, and really feel them. And some people, it's really a little painful at times. It's a little uncomfortable. So do that. Take a deep breath. And when you exhale, allow the energy of the exhale to float through your body and kind of touch the ground underneath your feet. Another way to come into presence is to utilize your heart. For those of you who are sitting, also feel your bottom on your seat. If you have a back behind your chair, feel the back. So you're going to feel feet, bottom, or backs of legs, back. And ideally, you're going to want head over shoulders, over hips, right? So you're in alignment. So we feel when you come into presence, I'm going to turn. When you come into presence in a standing position, you're typically not forward, because if you're going forward, you're not present, you're trying to move into the future. And if you're leaning back, you're avoiding being in the present and you're trying to stay stuck in the past. So when you feel your feet and take some breaths and let your body to relax, you can do some of those. And just kind of let the breath wash down or up or both when you breathe out, and feel your feet. And then relax your knees if you are standing, so that you have some bend, right? So if my knees are bent, and you can't see, I don't think I can get far enough away for you to see my hips, but my head, my shoulders, and my hips are aligned over my knees and then my ankles. And if I lean, you only lean a little forward and you're out of balance and you're not present, and a little backwards too. So, that in and of itself is presence, but I want to take it one step further. So here you are, aware of a nice supportive surface under your feet and possibly under your legs and your bottom. And if you've been standing and you want to sit down, you can. And then bring your awareness to right here, to behind the breastbone, like your clavicles here, right? I think that's what it's called. Your breastbone, bring your awareness behind your breastbone. And what do I mean by awareness? Like, imagine what it looks like behind. You might see your heart and some other things. And then let go of the image and just leave your focus there. There you go. And take a few breaths there in presence with your heart. Because there's this, your inner guru is like the wisdom and genius of your heart and your genius, your divinity, and also your mind supporting that. But a connection to heart and your inner guru, and everything's functioning very well. So keeping your awareness there. Just take a few more breaths. And sometimes it's kind of hard for people at first to keep their awareness here behind the breastbone, but if you can, do so, please. And just bring it back. If you lose that focus, it's okay. Just bring it back. And then I know that a lot of times you can almost feel like when you breathe in, you're breathing into your heart. You know you're breathing into your respiratory system, but it starts to feel like you're breathing into your heart. And it will actually feel like you're breathing into both back and front and exhaling back and front simultaneously. There you go. Allowing breath to come into heart. Still feeling your body loosely. And you can start to let go of your feet. Because if you're present here in your heart, you're present. And then you notice, just by bringing your presence to your heart and breathing and paying attention to your heart, right? Or the area around your heart and where your heart is, behind the breastbone and inside your body, a couple of things are happening. With this focus, your body is going to naturally begin to relax. So now you're coming into that inner quiet. Actually, I'm getting like super quiet. So you're going to come into inner quiet just by breathing into the heart, and then allow your body to relax. So just have the intention that stress is melting away and you're letting everything go. And I'm going to keep my hands here just as a reminder that you can just let go and keep your awareness at your heart and your breath flowing. And then so if you stay here a while, you'll notice attentiveness developing, because while you're super relaxed, you might be aware of things you're not normally so aware of. Like I can feel the air on my hands, so you might be aware of temperature or the actual air. You might hear sounds that feel like they're far away, that are very soft, that you don't normally hear. And if you stay in presence and internal quiet with focus at heart for a while, and you allow yourself to relax, you might be aware of information or thoughts that weren't there before. And obviously this is a technique you could do to cultivate meditation. I mean, this could be your meditation. I feel my body, focus on my heart, I'm breathing, I'm relaxing my body. And then in life, you go around with your eyes open and you can still get information. But if you wanted to cultivate it, you could close your eyes and just stay here for a couple of minutes. And you might find that suddenly you're in an unusual thought or in an unusual idea. Or you might have the experience of this happening if you drop into your subconscious, which isn't your inner guru, but you might drop in and your inner guru will point out a loud idea, belief, or concept that you didn't even know that you had in your psyche. And when that happens, Your inner guru will point it out, and you'll know you're pointing it out because nothing else is happening. It's being pointed out because nothing else will be happening, and the thought will be there. And almost, I've experienced it like somebody typing. It kind of flows across, and you're like, whoa, I had no idea that was stuck in my brain. And then you can kind of just go, okay, thank you. Let's pull that out. And you can pull it out like a thread. But we're talking about inner guru, and I've actually covered a lot of ways that in connecting and cultivating the three components to really being in connection with your inner guru, other ways of changing behaviors and improving your life, and how your inner guru helps you in those ways, not just in giving you information. So I stay in that place, and I want to share something else with you. It's really important. There's a feedback loop with your inner guru, your inner guidance system. If you listen to your inner guru and acknowledge, and if you don't like what's being told to you and you still think it's probably best and it's your inner guidance system, but you're like, gosh, I'm just not really ready to do that, then at least acknowledge. And because there's a feedback loop that's happening. When you acknowledge your inner guru and say, you know what, I hear you. I hear that it's probably best for me if I do but gosh, I just don't feel like I'm strong enough right now, or I don't feel that I'm capable, or I don't, whatever it is, just acknowledge it, because there's a feedback loop where you are being trained by your inner guru how to receive the information, and you are giving information to your inner guru. Hey, I did get it. I just can't do it right now. I'm just not up for it. Okay. And then of course, if you are up for it, then follow the guidance, because you are giving that information back. You're saying, I asked for the information. You gave me the information. I appreciate the information. And then you act on it. So that you start to build a really, really strong, open conduit of information flow that you're able to perceive, because your inner guru is training you how to perceive, but you're also saying, oh, I hear it when it comes this way, or I know it when it comes this way. And so your inner guru is going to see where your gaps are for your ability to receive the information. And your inner guru, dependent upon you, may assist you in building those up so that you can perceive and receive in multiple ways. But your inner guru will also know this is clearly how you receive, and give you information in that way so that you are not left in the dark. Your inner guru is like the greatest part of you, the part of you that loves you more than anything in the world. I mean, you could call it God, you could call it the divine, you can call it your inner guidance system. I've called it your inner GPS, your inner guru. So there's a feedback loop, and it's really important that you acknowledge. And I get that it's sometimes we get information we know is true, we know is right for us, and we're just not ready to do it. So that's okay. Your inner guru might push you, but at least acknowledge, I hear it. I think that's right. I'm just not ready. Or I think that's right, but I need you to show me how. So just make sure that you're meeting that part of you, right? So you can develop that feedback loop. I'm thinking about the attentiveness and in this presence. So when you have your awareness at your heart and you are present in the moment and you're quiet internally, you're almost naturally attentive because you're not busy doing anything else. So you're attentive, and it doesn't have to look like everything shuts down. I'm just giving you a way to cultivate those skills if you don't already have them set into your body and your mind and your emotions in a very strong foundational way. So you can walk through your life feeling good and calm. And if this is how you are, you're probably not listening to this. But if you're walking through your life feeling internally calm, internally regulated, there's a sense of openness that happens. So especially when your heart's centered. So if you're focused on your heart, you're creating this as your center. And what happens is this will lock into your head. So the wisdom of your heart and the wisdom of your mind and higher guidance will be able to communicate with you more easily, and you'll have greater accessibility to your genius moments, to creative moments, to your imagination. And of course, your inner guru is leading all that and guiding you. So the attentiveness, one of the other ways to develop attentiveness, besides what we spoke about before with being an active listener, is certainly observing the world, but not scrutinizing it. It's just like, wow, that's a beautiful flower, or, kind of noticing what's around you, but notice what's inside of you. Talked about noticing your emotions. But when you're focused with your heart, you're present, you're internally quiet, and you're feeling attentive, you could also consider that receptive, then information is able to come to you. You're not feeling tight and constricted or afraid. You're feeling like there's possibility in your life. There's possibility in the world. There's potential. So thank you very much. My name is Monika Brown. I think I forgot to introduce myself earlier. My name is Monika Brown. Thank you for hanging out with me and learning about the 3 components to cultivating that relationship with your inner guru. I hope that you regularly hang with your inner guru, and that's where your primary guidance and advice comes from. If you've listened to this, I'm also sharing with you a guided activity that is yours for free. It's called Connecting with Your Inner GPS, and it's a different practice than what we just did today, because this was more about cultivating. The other one is a clarity practice where you'll be able to get some answers for yourself from your inner guru. So thank you very much for watching this video. Sending each and every one of you blessings.